San Francisco 49ers fans and NFL draft nerds, welcome in. We have got a 49ers 7-round mock draft. If y'all been paying attention, you know it's not just the mock draft. We go throughout the offseason. We talk about free agency, the salary cap, all that good stuff. If you are into the NFL draft, team building, you're in the right place. It is all draft all the time here at Rogue Football. Hit that like and subscribe button. So the San Francisco 49ers, they have $50 million in cap space per overthecap.com, and they have a lot of big decisions to make, right? Got to sign Brock Purdy, right? I think so. I think that Brock Purdy has shown enough that you pay him. And, you know, whatever that costs, I don't think it's like 60 million, but I think he's in the 50, somewhere in the 50s, right, per year. And that's just the cost of doing business at this point. So I think you got to do that. Now, that shouldn't impact the current cap much at all. That's future because he's still under contract for 2025. So, yeah, get the Brock Purdy deal done. I think it looks like you're probably moving on from Deebo Samuel. Won't offer much cap relief by trading him, but it looks like the 49ers are allowing him to seek a trade. Who needs to be signed? I think when I look at this roster, when I look at the depth chart and the guys hitting free agency, I think you bring back Dre Greenlaw. I think you bring back Talanoa Hufanga. I think both of these guys, when healthy, which that is the caveat, but when healthy, offer so much playmaking ability and offer so much value to this defense. I know Dre Greenlaw hasn't really played since that Super Bowl. That I certainly believe that the 49ers would have won the Super Bowl if Dre Greenlaw didn't get hurt. I really do. So I think you bring back Dre Greenlaw. I think you bring back Talanoa Hufanga. Big-time playmakers. I think that you're probably signing them both for around $15 million per year. When you look at those two guys, maybe Greenlaw's a little bit cheaper. Maybe they're both a little bit cheaper because of injury history, but I think talent-wise, that's where they're at. So let's say you sign both of them $15 million a year, that range. Year one cap hit combined is probably about $12 million when you look at about 40% of the average annual value for the year one cap hit. So you got your linebacker core and your safety group intact. You're in a good spot there, right? Javon Hargrave, he looks to be gone, right? Looks like they're going to release him. Again, not going to save much cap there. Charvarius Ward also said he needs to get out of California. He looks to be gone as well. So you're at about $38 million in cap space after you sign Hufanga and Greenlaw. Let's say $38 million, like I said. What do you need to do? Upgrade the offensive line. I love Trent Williams. Not getting any younger, but still playing at an incredibly high level. I love Dominic Pooney. That was such a great pick for them. I was, I cover the Jags, root for the Jags, envious of that pick for the 49ers. Other than that, I think you need some upgrades. At least two big additions and probably some swings. 49ers have a lot of draft capital. Usually not used to picking up at 11, right? But I think you probably want to draft another wide receiver. I know you have your guys, Ayuk and Ricky Pearsall, go Gators. Probably still want to draft another wide receiver at some point. You probably need another interior penetrator. You have Malik Collins. Obviously, you still have Bosa and Leonard Floyd out there on the edge, but I think you probably want to add to that defensive front. I think you want to add a cornerback. And so looking at outside free agents that could enter the building, I think, drop the bag on Drew Dahlman to play center for you. Perfect fit. His athleticism, ability to dominate in both the run game and do a really good job being sticky with grip strength and mirroring ability and pass protection. Drop the bag on Drew Dahlman if he hits free agency. That should be the plan there. Any team that needs a center should do it. I honestly believe he should be the second highest paid center in free agency. That's the way free agency works. I think he's talented enough. I think he is a top 5 center in the league right now. He's going to be 27 later this year in the prime of his career. Drew Dahlman, and obviously there's the 49ers connection there. $14 million per year makes him the second highest paid, still way behind Creed Humphrey, but there's a huge gap right now in the center contracts between center 2 and Creed Humphrey up there at $18 million per year. But make him the second highest paid center. And the great thing about paying a center is you're not breaking the bank to do it. That's the beauty of it. So signing guys like that in free agency who can make a massive impact, I think that's critical there. Looking at corner in free agency, there's a lot of different directions you could go. I think Paulson Adebo makes sense at cornerback. He's the right age range, the age you're looking to sign a guy. He's big, athletic, good length, productive football player. Probably $14 million a year, $6 million cap hit. You're down to about $26 million in cap space. And then I'm looking at upgrading that offensive line again. I think Brandon Sheriff from my Jacksonville Jaguars, even though he's up there in age on a 1 or 2 year deal, probably one, given his age, I think he upgrades you. I still think he's a very good athlete. I still think that he's a strong pass protector. So talking about Trent Williams at right tackle, you've got Brandon Sheriff and Dominique Puni to play guard, whichever one. They both, I think, played right guard last year. I know Sheriff did, but I know Puni has versatility to play on either side. Drew Dahlman at center. That's 4 across that you can feel pretty darn good about, and then you're just trying to upgrade that right tackle spot. Maybe you can sign a Mekhi Becton. Definitely taking some swings in the draft. I don't think it's out of the range of possibilities to go O-line in the first round, right? We'll talk about that, and we're going to get into that mock draft. But I think Becton would be a good signing at right tackle. And you're still well within the green when it comes to cap space there. And it's possible that one of the guys that they ended up moving on, like if they move on from Javon Hargrave, they could save a little bit by doing it post June 1. Not sure exactly what they'll do there. But, yeah, time for the draft. So, 49ers picking at 11. This is not a commonly picked or mocked spot for the player I'm putting here, but I think James Pierce Jr. in the 49ers defense, wide 9, you give him a runway, this guy is an elite pass rusher. And I keep seeing him drop. I don't know why. I really don't understand it. But I look at his skill set, his refinement as a pass rusher. You get him in a wide 9, you get him attacking. That could be unbelievable. Now, you could certainly take Josh Simmons here out of Ohio State, who I think is the most prototypical left tackle in the draft. And he can eventually be your left tackle. When Trent Williams hangs it up, be your right tackle for the time being. That obviously makes a lot of sense. It does. But I think you can address right tackle in free agency. I think you can pretty much rebuild your offensive line in free agency. And add pieces a little bit later in this draft that have a chance to develop for you. That's the direction I would go, because when I look at winning a Super Bowl, when I look at beating teams like the Chiefs, teams like the Eagles, what do you have to do? Win with 4 up front. James Pierce Jr. with Nick Bosa, Leonard Floyd is going to help you do that. Guess what? Our pick at 43 is going to help you do that as well. Darius Alexander, he's been a big riser out of Toledo at interior defensive line. The guy is 6'4", 305-ish pounds. He has over 34-inch arms. He's got great length. The coolest part about his game, though, has nothing to do with the measurables. It's what you see on tape. He is incredibly fluid at his size. He is stout at his size. He has a bag of pass rush moves. He can explode off the ball and beat interior linemen in a flash, be in the backfield, right? He can also use his hands at an extremely high level, and against the run, he's very technically sound. He sees the game well in front of him, which is huge for an interior defensive lineman. I personally think he should be coming off the board in the teens. That's how highly I value Darius Alexander. I have not seen the rest of the draft community quite there yet, but that's where I'm at with Darius Alexander. So, again, getting that Monstar defense in front, I think it's the clearest path to getting back to the big game. I really do. And James Pierce Jr., Darius Alexander, so disruptive. Would be a lot of fun to see them in San Francisco with the guys that are already there. Again, Nick Bosa, right? Leonard Floyd, Malik Collins. I'm here for it. And then we are going to go back to the offensive side of the ball for several picks in a row here. But how about Jack Besh at 75 out of TCU by way of LSU? Jack Besh is a guy that can do it all for you. I think a Jawan Jennings plus type of player. And that's a huge value for the 49ers. Somebody who can, again, do all the dirty work for you, but also has a big catch radius, can go up and get the football at a high level in contested catch situations. I think you can do a lot with him in a 49ers offense. So love that. At 99 and 112, we're going offensive line, right? Chase Lunt out of UConn, I think, is going to test very well. I think he has the potential to be a starting tackle in the league down the road. So you develop him for the next couple of years, and maybe you can get him in your starting lineup at tackle. He's really tall, really athletic. Miles Frazier out of LSU, he played guard at LSU, went down to the combine or to the Senior Bowl, and he played guard and tackle over there, and he did a tremendous job. Didn't allow a single sack this past year, I believe, at LSU. Somebody who I think, again, has developmental upside for your offensive line because, yes, you paid Brandon Sheriff, you paid Becton. I don't think either of those guys are really long-term. I think you want Drew Dahlman starting for you as long as you can have him, as long as he's the same level of athlete that he currently is, and he's a young guy. So I think Dahlman and Pooney are long-term fixtures. I think hopefully Trent Williams can keep playing for a while. But other than that, the guys you have are more 1 or 2 to 3 year options, right? And so getting some young offensive linemen to continue to develop like Chase Lunt and Miles Frazier in this range, I think makes a lot of sense. At 138, how about going back to the well at Iowa for the tight end, Luke Lachey? Obviously, they hit big on your boy George Kittle. Luke Lachey, not going to be the next George Kittle in all likelihood, but a lot of physical talent. Iowa passing game was atrocious this year. You've seen him produce at a high level. He's a big athletic guy with more nimbleness and really strong hands. And I think he can be an inline guy, a move guy for you in this 49ers offense. At 139, I love Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw. I'm hoping, if I'm a 49ers fan, Dre Greenlaw can get back to being Dre Greenlaw. And I think, he probably can, but injuries are going to be a concern now. So developmental linebacker Shamar James out of the University of Florida, who had an incredible Senior Bowl week. He showed the ability to diagnose downhill against the run, shoot into the backfield, shoot upfield against screen plays as well, and then also cover backs coming out of the backfield one-on-one. When you have that complete of a skill set, yes, I'll absolutely take that here at 139. And then at 189, an undervalued player who really, if he was taller, Jabbar Muhammad would have no business being on the board on day 3 of the draft. He has great stickiness, great feel for coverage. He sees the game well in front of him in zone coverage, in man coverage. Good luck separating. He's quick, fluid, can turn and run. I think he's an underrated guy because he's 5'10", 5'9". Q Robinson out of Alabama at 228, another edge rusher who I think fits perfectly in a wide 9. He's got athleticism. He's got length. Sign me all the way up. At 232, you got to take a running back at some point with your 49ers, right? Joquavius Marks out of USC, explosive back. I think that he showed his explosiveness pretty well at the Senior Bowl, and you see it on tape, so somebody who could potentially fit with the 49ers there, outside zone. Kyle Williams at 255. Why is he available? I don't know. I think Kyle Williams should be a third-round pick. That's how much I value Kyle Williams, even though he is undersized as well. But I think you could have a potential diamond in the rough if you're able to land Kyle Williams on day 3 of the draft out of Washington State. Super fluid route runner. creates separation very easily. He's an explosive athlete, can go up and get the football even though he's not the biggest guy out there, and just a playmaker. So that's the draft for the 49ers. I think if you wanted to, you could certainly value offensive line earlier over defensive line, but I think the clearest path to getting back to the Super Bowl, to potentially winning the Super Bowl, is creating that monster defensive front. You can plug gaps on the offensive line. Kyle Shanahan can coach up the offensive line and get the most out of this group, in my opinion. You've seen it consistently. They do more with less than just about anybody on the offensive line in the league. But we upgraded the offensive line in free agency in a big way. We added developmental guys in the draft. And so that's how we're rolling into 2025 for the San Francisco 49ers. 49ers fans, let me know what you think in the comment section below. If you enjoy the content here, please like and subscribe. Y'all have a good one.